Hey, so don't be a content creator. Trust me on this. I have not posted in a couple of months, and I know this is a little different than a lot of my videos. The world's been absolutely insane for literally everyone. It seems like everyone I know, everyone I see online is in complete crash out, including the US government, because, like, what the is going on with the Strait of Hormuz? What the is going on with this war in Iran? What the is going on with gas prices? Like, why are we doing this? Okay? But that's not what I'm here to talk about. I've been on YouTube for 4 years, since 2022, and I do plan to continue that journey. But before I do, we need to talk about a lot of shit. Being a creator is probably one of the best and worst things that ever happened to me personally. And if you plan to be a creator, it is probably not as easy as you think. In fact, it involves so much change and transformation in who you are professionally, personally, and in every aspect of your life. Let's say you start a YouTube channel or TikTok or Instagram or any of that. Usually you're going to start all of them because you got to be everywhere these days. You get popular doing one thing and you build a following, you build a community, you build an audience. They really like you. They really want to support you. So you do that same thing over again. They love it. They want to see it. And then at some point, less people want to see it. They get tired of it. So you do another thing. Let's say you branch out a little bit and people are mad. They're like, why are you doing that? You know, the people that have been there with you. They're like, I want to see more of this old thing. But then that thing gets popular. And the algorithm loves that for a while. And so on and so on and so on. And I think I've gone through maybe 10 to 20 cycles of that. People ask me all the time, what happened to your City Skylines videos, right? I made about probably over 100 of those things where I was playing City Skylines. That's how I got my channel. That's how I got my channel name. That's how I started everything. And the sad fact of the algorithm is, on YouTube especially, less so on other platforms, is if you keep things like that up that are no longer reflect your channel as it is now, you will see those show up in people's feeds, recommended, search. I had a couple of my City Skylines tutorials rank #1 in search for years. I was making $200-300 a month off of those alone. Just that. But I was also gaining tons of subscribers who were, maybe some of you, who were expecting tutorials on how to play City Skylines, which is a game I do not play anymore. If you want to know why, had nothing to do with like CS2, you know, that bunch, the sequel mess. It's actually just my computer can't handle it. And I did not want to deal with that. I can't really afford to buy a new computer. And I just wanted to do new things. So you kind of have to private them, unlist them if you don't want that to continue to affect your channel. Yeah, I could have started a new channel, but unfortunately, a lot of my subscribers on other channels, for example, you grow on Instagram, you grow on TikTok. So I grew on those platforms doing a lot of different things: comedy, geography content, satire content. Yeah, some gaming, right? And a lot of them were wanting me to do long form. So that's how you've got what you got today. And if you're a creator, you'll understand this, that you constantly are growing and evolving and changing. And then people have one idea of who you are and what you do. If you see, for example, my Instagram, I have 300,000 followers over there. And a lot of them are local to here in Northern California. And so you have a different opinion of a person based on kind of where you find them. And a lot of creators do this. And if you ever think of being a creator, you've got to deal with however many people you follow, each of them having a different opinion of you and what you do and who you are. And it becomes a lot. And so not only then are you running a personal brand, a business, you're educating people, you're making them laugh, you're entertaining them, whatever you're doing, you're also having 100, 200, 300,000 million people developing a relationship with you where they start to see you as maybe their friend, their confidant, their coworker, their teacher, whatever it is. And that becomes a lot. At least in my example, as somebody who has developed a large platform, I love it. I love interacting with people. I love the ability to not have to work a regular job. Because have you seen the job market? Trust me, the job market right now is bad. If you've ever been looking for a job, which I left the professional field, the professional world in 2023, I was working in sales and I was laid off, and the circumstances around it, a little related to AI, I think. They didn't say it outright, but it was a writing company, and it was right when ChatGPT was replacing people's marketing departments. We're like a marketing agency. We did a lot of writing for people's websites, and I think that was a big part of it. Ever since, I've been lucky enough to be able to make enough money to do content creation full time. It was back when TikTok had a really good creator program where I was making enough to basically feel no impact from losing my job. And a lot of creators were. And a lot of people now have since been laid off from jobs, and the job market has just tanked. I've personally looked for jobs. I have friends with Ivy League educations that cannot get a job. And so a lot of people are thinking of turning to content creation. And I will tell you, being a creator right now, it's not for the weak of heart. It's actually probably harder than ever. TikTok's creator program, for example, the revenue for me personally dropped by 95%. I have seen some recovery recently, but I've had to only post a certain style of content, which gets substantially less views than most of my other content. It's like hyper local vlogging content that people like. You've probably seen some of them here on YouTube Shorts. People like them, and TikTok likes to pay a decent amount per view for them, but they're so local, they don't go anywhere. Another thing, YouTube's algorithm has changed a lot. You're seeing less residual views from old videos, so you're pressured to constantly upload, which I have unfortunately not been doing. I tend to spend a lot of time on my content, and a lot of creators do. And because I'm a one-person show, I don't have editors, I don't have script writers, I don't have anything, all of that work falls on me. And as somebody who, unfortunately, as a result of my content creation on other platforms, specifically Instagram, actually, I've become somewhat of a local celebrity here, which people tell me all the time. I don't understand it. It does affect my ability to develop relationships and friendships. I go out with my friends quite a bit, and every time I go out, this is 100% true, somebody recognizes me from Instagram specifically. Every once in a while, I'll get one of y'all from YouTube be like, hey, I've seen your YouTube videos. I'm like, hell yeah, love that. Like, thank you. But I only have 80,000 subscribers here. It's really not that big. But Instagram, I have 300,000 followers, and I get at least 10 to 20 million views per month. It's become to the point where some of my friends have told me to use a fake name when I go out, to wear a disguise. And it's strange because I don't want to. This is what I look like. It's affected the ability to develop relationships in general, to date, to make friends, business colleagues, anything. Because you never know why somebody wants to talk to you. You never know if they genuinely have an interest in you as a person, or they like being associated with you when it comes to knowing a person that they perceive to be successful. They perceive to have a following, a platform, a certain amount of clout. And so as you gain success as a content creator, the amount of attention you get does not necessarily follow the amount of money you make. So a lot of people will assume that creators are all well off. You have a lot of followers, you must be rich. I will say right now, that's not the case. Most of the time I pull in about the same as what like a minimum wage job in the San Francisco Bay Area makes. I can afford barely to pay my rent in an apartment and feed my cat, fill up gas in my car, insurance. That's about it. And most content creators are kind of in the same boat. Revenue has been down. You do have to work to get sponsorships and take things that maybe don't always align with like your personal views because of you got to pay the bills. And you have to be very discerning about that. And you have to be very discerning about how you edit your videos, making sure the information is correct, because if you say one wrong thing, somebody's going to correct it. And it's fine. I've said some stuff that was a little off or inaccurate and somebody corrected it. But it does grate on you. You have to make thumbnails, which is its own art. And something that a lot of content creators struggle with, including myself. You'll spend 3 weeks on a video and it will do poorly because the title and thumbnail weren't reaching a high enough click-through rate. And then maybe you'll get lucky. You'll change the title and thumbnail and all of a sudden that video is one of your most viewed of all time. And so YouTube itself is a game, and it's like any other business. And so when I say don't be a content creator, what I mean is don't be a content creator unless you're ready for every aspect of your life to change over time if you are successful. And don't be a content creator expecting to do one thing for the rest of your creation career, because you're going to be tied to that one thing. And once that one thing falls out of vogue, you have two options. You can either continue doing it on the side and just kind of putting it out there, or you can change, whether that means you retire or you do something new. And so a lot of people will say to me, I remember when this channel was about city skylines. I remember when this channel was about geography or cities. And I'm like, yeah, I'm glad. Thank you for being around for that long. Like, really, I appreciate that you remember that you were impacted by that content enough to actually see it and actually pay attention to it, because that's cool. But also, sometimes you can't go back to the way things were before. And so if you follow me, you'll notice I touch on a lot of topics on this channel now, not just cities. And that's going to continue. A lot of content creators do that. They'll start as one. Hell, Mr. Beast started off as a freaking Minecraft streamer. Well, we don't love Mr. Beast, but you know what I'm saying. And if you're thinking of getting into this business for an easy way out of the grind of the 9 to 5, don't quit your job until you're ready. If you're thinking of getting into this to express yourself, to do something that you love, for example, I love creating and editing video. Everything else is just a vessel for me to do that. There are topics I like to talk about. There are topics I love to talk about. But I've been pegged as this like urbanist, urban planning, geography, city planning. I'm not a fucking planner, guys. It was just another thing that's topical, that's interesting to talk about. It affects our lives, but it's not the only thing. Personally, I have no education or skills in that department. I kind of fell into it, talking about it. I love to travel, so you see a lot of travel vlogs on here. And so if there is something that you love doing, don't be afraid to post it and talk about it. But also don't be afraid to branch out. Now, unfortunately, obviously, a lot of algorithms and algorithm-driven content, they tend to peg a creator into one or two things. And there are ways to break out of it. It's usually slow and steady. Or you did what I did. I took a 9-month break from YouTube to get City Skylines out of my algorithm and start something new. Because unfortunately, anytime I tried to post anything that wasn't related to City Skylines before, it was getting low views, low engagement, and a lot of unkind comments about like, hey, why did you do this? Like I posted some truck simulator content. People did not like that. Try short form too. Short form content, TikTok and Instagram gets a lot of hate, but there's a lot of good content out there. And it's a good way to experiment with lots of different things on a low effort and kind of figure out what you want to do. Because right now, everybody's looking for something to fulfill them. Everybody's looking for something to get them out of the grind. And I will tell you, I do not regret doing this in the slightest at all, because it's much better than a 9 to 5. It's much better than service work. It requires a lot of skills. You have to be a writer, a video editor, a marketer, a voiceover artist. You have to know how to run your own business. You have to know how to negotiate contracts. You have to know how to do social media. And you have to know how to interact with and talk to people. And all of that you will learn if you create content, if you become good at it. But some of it is not taught. Some of it you just already have to have. And so this is kind of a little bit of a crash out video on my end, because professionally and personally, I've been going through it. And for me, the professional and personal are unfortunately interlinked, because so much of my identity these days is this dumb bitch you see on your screen, especially to my Instagram followers, because they will watch my stories. They see all of my little spend 1 minute in this town vlogs, and then they see my edits. And if you haven't seen my crazy political edits, whatever the hell they are, the little, yeah, I love big oil or whatever they are. If you haven't seen those, take a look at Instagram and watch them. I know this video is not going to get much engagement in the algorithm, and that's okay. And in about a week or two, I got another long form YouTube video coming out, and it's about a city, so don't worry, guys. I know y'all love that. In fact, I love doing that too, but unfortunately, the content creation game is a deep struggle, and I think I needed to put something out to talk about it before I could move forward and start creating more for YouTube, because quite frankly, between me and my beautiful followers, I've been kind of at an impasse with this channel, not really sure where to move forward, not really sure where to take it. And I feel like there was like a lot of good content last year that did really well and that people really loved. And I wanted to keep that going, and I still want to keep that going, but it's been really hard to even just wake up in the morning and lock in and do it. And honestly, I just wanted to say that. And I hope you'll be here for when I post the next one. And I hope you'll support all of your friends who are creators, all of the creators that you watch. I hope you'll support. It is a lovely, beautiful job that is far easier than going into an office every day. It is far easier than doing manual labor every day. Trust me, I have done both. I have worked the hardest manual labor jobs. I have worked the hardest service industry jobs. I have worked the most emotionally damaging office jobs. And the best job I've ever had is doing this right here. So don't think it's about complaining. I do hope that you stick around to watch more of my stuff. And if you don't, and if you only came here for City Skylines and you're seeing this 2 years later, because I haven't posted a City Skylines video in almost 2 years. If you're seeing this and that is, look at that, my camera's battery died. So if you're seeing this and only wanted to see City Skylines, go follow City Planner Plays. His shit's the best. But if you're here for me and all my stuff, thank you for being here. I'll talk to you next time.